But first, she catapulted into stardom in the 90s, selling 33 million albums and earning 7 Grammy Awards.
Well, now Alanis Morissette is celebrating 25 years of her iconic album, Jagged Little Pill, with a global tour.
But before we talk to her about it, let's take a look at some of her hits.
You've already won me over, in spite of me, and don't be alarmed if I fall head over feet, 'cause I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is giving a high five. It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid. Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. It's not there to deny me all the cross I made. I checked it to me. You ought to know.
And Alanis is here now. How lovely to see you. Thank you for
So nice.
coming in.
Welcome.
Thanks for having
Does
me.
it feel like 25 years?
It feels like 25 minutes and another lifetime entirely.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? And the thing is that
It's weird.
that you had what, 2 albums rejected before that one landed?
Oh, a lot of rejection beforehand. I actually, and even when the You Ought to Know was first given to radio at the time, early 90s, a lot of the radio's reception was, we're already playing a female artist. We're already playing Sinead O'Connor. We're already playing Tori Amos. We can't play another female.
Which is crazy because it
Craziness.
resonates with so many people. Like, so many people listen to the lyrics of many songs on that album in particular, and it takes them back to that time. But
Yes.
still so current now. And you've said in the past, and I just wanted you to explain it a bit more, that that music on that album sort of gave people permission to feel in a way.
Yeah, the 3 feelings that I certainly was told as a child I couldn't feel were anger, sadness, and terror or fear.
Yeah.
So, of course, I was feeling those all the time. So the opportunity to write them alone in a studio became the place for it to go to. And then once it was shared publicly, people make it their own. And I love the interpretations of it, whatever they are. And
Caroline's included.
yes,
today.
no, I mean, that one in particular is it's inspirational.
You'll never forget that one.
It's good.
And the thing with that album, we talk about the use of it. Everybody start out in the music business and there is rejection. But even that album wasn't easy to get away.
Yeah, I mean, when we first were shopping it, it was in the middle of my writing the record, and I usually there's 2 modes that I'm in. I call it being under the rock, sweatpants, ponytail on the top of the head, the whole thing, and then being out, meeting people and being, somewhat presentable. And I was still in the writing mode, and it was being shopped, so to speak. And I said, please just stop, because I don't want, it's too early, So we went back to writing, finished the record, and then I met Madonna and Guy Oseary at Maverick, and he heard the song Perfect, and You Ought to Know. And he just did a couple backflips, and then we were off to the races, so to speak, too.
And that was it. And your style of writing, I mean, it's sort of autobiographical in some ways. It's very, very personal. Putting that out there for everybody, like you just said, to interpret in their own way, does that come with a sort of certain vulnerability in a way?
It's vulnerable to write it, but in a sense, I'm isolated and insulated in the studio. So, people say, wow, it's so courageous. Actually, somewhat cowardly to avoid human beings and go write about it. So
But sharing it
it was vulnerable. Every night before a new album is out, I wake up with a start and just big panic attack, and then it's fine.
Then it's fine.
And it's really empowering, actually, because I don't have to worry about what I've white lied about. It's just, it's not all of it. There's still things that I keep private.
Yeah.
But there's no secrecy, because secrecy is just debilitating for me.
It's very good therapy.
So
in a
what?
way.
I mean, that's where your head was at that time, 25 years ago, and the new album, Such Pretty Forks in the Road, out now. So where are you now?
I just looked at the sequence of this new record and just finished mixing it 2 days ago. And it's intense, but I like to think that I write all the things that are in my unconscious while I'm writing. And then in so doing, I'm able to just kind of liberate myself to not be chased by that which I'm resisting and pushing away, because it just persists, as I've come to notice. But yeah, this whole record, there's some postpartum chapters in there. After all 3 of my pregnancies, I've had postpartum activity, as I call it.
Right.
First 2 were a little more depression-oriented, and this one is more anxiety.
Okay.
Medication is saved the day for me. And then I finished the record a little over 6 months ago.
Right.
So I wrote a few other songs. So it encapsulates about a 2-year period.
Well, the single is Reasons I Drink.
Yes. Not while pregnant.
No, of course. Of course.
FYI.
Of course.
No, yes, it's really a merciful, empathic way of viewing addiction. Because for so long, people who are embroiled in an addiction, they get such a bad rep, and there's judgment and cruelty, really, them being relegated. And it's really, I mean, when we're reaching out for people, processes, things, addictions, dopamine, serotonin, we want relief from something.
So was that a thing with you?
Of course.
Was it?
Yes, I mean, I have work addiction is my primary addiction. Busyness, overgiving,
Yeah.
movement. And then food has always been one. Love addiction was a big one for years. Relationships, just repeating the same pattern of absolute torture.
Well, let's have a listen to that single, Reasons I Drink. Here it is.
Here we are. I feel such rapture and the comfort is so strong. One more ride. I go from one really good to another to stay there.
Great.
Yeah, it does sound great. And you're going on tour now. And so this is the 2020 tour, 13 cities across Europe. What's wonderful is you are going as a family. You're all going on tour. The kids are
Yes.
coming with you. Is that because now you wouldn't be able to do the tour for that amount of time without them? It just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I'm archetypally, I was born to be a mom, so there would be no way for me to tour for almost a year and a half, which is what it looks like it'll be,
Yeah.
without them.
No.
So it's sort of a nomadic circus attachment village community thing where my daughter will run down the hallway in the hotel and every door will open and she'll know every single person. It's
Amazing.
surreal, and for them, they're really happy.
Yeah.
You've described yourself in the past as being quite high maintenance on tour.
Yes.
And in the studio in the past, you know, if there was movement, it would sort of put
Yes,
you off.
yes.
I mean, that is really not the case.
How do you reconcile that with 3 children? I've grown away from that intensity of needing no peripheral movement, you know, but it depends. 6 p.m. I can't focus, but if I get started a little earlier, it weans as the day goes by. And
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I've written songs where there's a knock on the door and my son comes in and puts his hand on my shoulder and just is there with me while I'm writing. So I've had to adapt to integrating it all, or there's no
So
other
your
way.
multitasking has just gone mad.
I mean, yeah, my brain is wildly diffuse now.
Yeah.
I see 15 of you.
do you?
Down to 15.
Yeah, poor you.
Yes. Lucky me, come on.
It's so lovely to see
It
you. The
really
new
is,
album,
it really
Such
is.
Pretty
Thank
Forks in
you.
the Road, is out on May the 1st, and the single is Reasons I Drink, and that's out, I think. Is that out now?
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
out now.
yeah.
And more importantly, the tour that we were talking about, we've just got your UK dates in. London, 28th of September, Birmingham, 29th of September, Manchester, 4th of October.
Yeah, getting quick, 'cause I imagine that will be sold out. Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
having
much.
me.
Thank you. Pleasure. Right, still to come, our man in LA, Sam